quick note on an important issue, really, a big, huge misunderstanding, a very old misunderstanding about the concept of jihad in Islam. Muslims think of it as holy war. Other people other than Muslims think of it as terrorism, and both have major misunderstanding of this concept. Before I actually go into it, I want people to go and read literature, the literature you find in ministries of defense all over the world in civilized countries. You will find that they have very clear regulations on how to conduct war or armed conflict, if you like. Many words are used for the word war, but armed conflict or other words are being used for this. In any case, if you go to any literature of any army, civilized army, or any defense ministry of defense in any civilized country, you will find that there are things called regulations of regulating war, of rules of engagement, if you like. And those things are clear guidelines on how to actually avoid harming civilians, and they're very good. But nevertheless, if you read through them, you will find that they talk about killing people. Now, I know that there are armed people that you're killing in those regulations, but it's still talking about killing people. And nobody thinks that this is wrong because it's regulating war. Now, this is exactly what you have in Quran. Quran has verses, not that many verses, but people concentrate on those verses a lot. All parties, unfortunately. Those verses speak about regulating war, the way of making war as civilized as possible. War is never civilized. War is never something that I would condone or I would love to happen to anybody, to be honest. But we have to face the reality of things, and we have to face the fact that war will happen. It happened, it's happening, and it will happen. So there is a very important need to regulate for it, to have civilized, to make it as civilized as possible for people, and to spare the civilians the bad effects of war. And this is why you have the Geneva Conventions and or other things that I think are very important and very good. And I think all Muslims should actually believe in these things because they would make the suffering of humanity less. But having said that, Quran has the same thing. It actually regulates war. So when you read those verses out of context of war, you will feel that we're talking about killing people for no reason. And one of the reasons why there is a big misunderstanding is the loose use of the word kafir in Arabic. The word kafir in Arabic means clearly, especially in the context of war, is the enemy. So if you're reading any literature in any ministry of defense, you'll find that they define the enemy as so and so. The Mus'haf or Quran word for enemy is kafir. So when you find kafir, it doesn't mean infidel, it means enemy. So if you're actually fighting enemy, it's understandable that you end up sometimes killing the enemy, unfortunately. But the Quran is not asking us to kill infidels as such. Quran is asking us to fight when there is a armed conflict, to fight the war as civilized as possible. But Quran also accepts the fact that war will actually have casualties, and there are the times that people get killed in wars. These verses that you have in Quran are there to regulate war in as much civilized way as possible. So I hope this actually clarifies this point, because many people think of Islam as the aggressive religion or very violent religion. It's actually not. Islam takes life on, try to regulate all areas of life, and Islam also takes reality as it is and deals with it in as much civilized way as possible. So, and one of the things in reality is that war happened, unfortunately. Thank you very much.